Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of World of Winter with your host me, Wintertooth100, and this is episode 10, I think it is. And that little intro you guys saw, oh my goodness, I've watched it like 24 times already. It's still fantastic. I really like it, and hopefully, since we debut these as premieres, if you missed it, hopefully you'll go back and watch it. But guys, I'm sure you can tell, yes, this is the start of a brand new project in the World of Winter. Welcome to the foundations of the Merfolk city. That's right, we're going to be building the Merfolk city here. And if I swap my vision around real quick, this thing is huge. The last little bit of the little time-lapse thingy at the intro, that was to give you guys a sense of scale, but it is large. There's only one real way to give you guys a sense of scale, and that is to fly. And yes, this northern project will have a minor exception to the flying rule because of the nature of what this is going to be, and players will be allowed to fly only here in the north. But you can see where I've laid an outline to this. It's actually a mountain. It's actually gonna be a mountain. This is the outline of one giant mountain, and it is massive. This is going to be a huge project, and there's a lot of little details that are going to go along with this, and we'll discuss those in just a few moments. But oh my goodness, this place is going to be ridiculous. We're going to have to clear out all the trees. We're going to be mining this thing down to about bedrock, just above bedrock. So not only is it massive from front to back, side to side, but it's also going to be almost as deep as you can go in the world, and it's going to go up to nearly as tall as you can go in the world. So I have prepared a few things. One thing is this building. It's nothing fancy, and it's going to come down when this project is complete. This is kind of just the forward base, the operation place. This is where you'll find a command block to teleport you back to my base, which you'll find the matching command block, which will bring you here. And we have chests absolutely everywhere. This very nearly depleted my collection of wood. I had to reharvest a few trees to finish this place up, but they all have item frames. And I'm going to try my best to explain this just as fast as I can. Essentially, if you put an item in the top item frame, because there aren't any on the rest, because that'd be ridiculous, this whole row will be dedicated to whatever item is in the item frame. So you see we got 3 birch logs, so we actually have 12 double chests here for birch. And this is what I've collected so far, just clearing out the border of where the border stone wall thing is. And essentially we're just going to come through, and as we clear it out, we will just pick a new spot, and then that whole row will be dedicated to it. And we got multiple floors. I'm hoping this is overkill for materials, but when you consider we're going to have to mine all the way down to basically bedrock for that giant area, we might not actually have enough storage. So, to help my players along, we are going to, this is very important, these tools are not to keep. They're for the use of this project only. Do not take these tools back to the mainland. And again, before you actually go there, did you drop off your tools? Because all of these tools have a special property, and that of course is, if you look towards the bottom, that blue text, they are unbreakable. These things do not suffer durability loss. So, the only way a player should, in theory, lose one of these is if they drop it on the ground and let it despawn, throw it into lava, or... nope, that might be about it. Maybe give it to a zombie and the zombie dies and then it despawns. I don't know. There's very few ways to lose these things. But because they are unbreakable, they are not allowed to leave this area. So before you go back, even if you have to go back just to grab a couple of things from the shopping district, you must drop off your unbreakable tools. Now, you can take one per person, except in the case of the pickaxe and the shovel. You can take one of each. You'll notice one is just efficiency and one is efficiency and silk touch. We do want to get us a mixture of smooth stone, cobblestone, dirt, and grass. So we do have variations there. But when it comes to the axe, they're all just the silk touch efficiency. It's going to be a really massive project. I want to tackle that thing today, and there's a few more things to go along with this project that we'll talk about in just a moment. Let me skip this night. Since this project is so big, I thought it would be wise to pop into a creative test world and just show off a few design concepts that we will be implementing throughout this Merfolk city. And this first thing that I have set up here for you is a mock-up of the outline that I have made in the World of Winter. Now, it's not block for block, and obviously it's not to scale, but this outer ring will represent the ring that I have already made on the server, and we are going to clear cut everything and flatten it all and bring it all down to roughly around bedrock, where we will then find our inner ring. Because as we all probably know, mountains aren't just one block thick, they are several blocks thick, and our particular mountain that we want to build will be hollow on the inside so we can actually build the city. So the city itself won't be nearly as large as the outer perimeter that is already outlined, but it will still be very massive and quite a project. I'm going to need all hands on deck to bring this city to life. It's going to be a ridiculous project. This will probably take months to complete, but basically we're gonna dig it all down to bedrock after clearing everything out and figure out our inner ring. Once we have the inner ring, we will figure out the scale, the height of the mountain, the shape of it. This will be probably one of the most difficult parts of the process, as we have to get the mountain to have a natural look to it, at least on the outside. I'm not as concerned about the inside, but at least on the outside, we want to find a natural shape that feels nice, and we'll probably end up doing snow-capped mountaintops on this because we happen to be surrounded by a bunch of mountains, and they are all snow-capped. But I thought it'd be pretty cool if we had sections of the mountain that were just little cylinders, essentially, and the water from the inside would waterfall out, and within this opening in the mountain, of course, we would have it barricaded off so you can't swim up the water to get in here. It's going to be a little bit more challenging to get into the city than just swimming up one of the waterfalls, but we have this mock-up on both sides, and this side I just have a bunch of slabs down to show off the fact that we're not going to fill these in. I think that'd be a massive waste of materials, but we will slab anything we can to prevent any mob spawning on the inside of the mountain. It's effectively going to be a shell. We'll have the outer wall, it'll be hollow on the inside, we'll have the inner wall, and then the main actual guts of it will be basically hollow as well. But it'll be filled with water as represented by the carpet. It'll be filled pretty much to the brim, and I thought it'd be neat. Now, I'm not 100% sold on this, but I like this idea a lot. You guys will have to let me know in the comments down below or in the chat. Premier, what's up, Premier? We have these coral mock-ups, and these ones in particular are sitting on water so they don't die on us. But we have these little coral mock-ups, and I thought it'd be neat to build giant coral stalks, because again, the inside of this Merfolk city is going to be huge, and I don't want little coral stalks. I want massive coral stalks, and it's on top of these that we'll build houses. I think it'd be neat to, in some of these, since these will be hollow anyway, we could come in and build more of a cave system, and inside here would be like, the Capitol building or something. And this would be how the city's kind of made up, and then we could have different elevations. And of course, the way you would get around in here is just by swimming. You'd be able to, leave your house and swim over to the next platform where maybe your friend's living over here and you can visit your friend, but I think that'd be really cool. We could have different elevations going up. You have houses at the bottom, houses in the middle, houses towards the top, just different buildings for different things. And instead of a traditional peaked roof house, because I think that looks silly, we are building a city. I thought it'd be nice to do kind of like almost like a bubble dome, and the insides of the buildings and houses would be hollow. They wouldn't have any water in them. They would actually be for a surface dweller who came to visit the city. They actually could come down here and survive in the house. Though I don't anticipate too many air breathers living here, but yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool. And for these coral stalks, I am thinking huge. I'm thinking big enough that we can hide the conduits inside of them, so that this whole place is effectively able to have anybody survive in it, not just the Merfolk, but it is primarily the Merfolk city, but we do want to make sure people can breathe. So this is, of course, it's too round, but this is an example of roughly about the size of what I think one of the coral stalks might be, and it would just be really tall and branch out. Think of it as like a giant tree, like a giant tree, like really big. And of course we'd be able to swim up here, and on the inside I got the conduit set up, and so of course you'll be able to, you know, swim around throughout the city and be fine because of the conduits. So we're gonna need peeps on board to help me collect conduits. I don't think I have any anymore. I think I have one, actually. I don't remember where I put it, but I think I only have one, and we're gonna need a bunch to dedicate and give to this city project. They'll basically, once they're in here, they'll stay in here. So gonna need lots of help collecting things like the conduits. Of course, we're gonna want to get our hands on all the course itself. So that's gonna be ridiculous. That's gonna be one of the hardest parts, I think. Any stone bricks used in here, I'd prefer if we use the mossy stone, mossy cobble. If it's touching water, it probably should be mossy predominantly, with hints of still clean stone. I guess you call it clean, right? And hey, if you guys are enjoying this episode, what we're doing here, the Merfolk City, if you want to play as a special custom race here on the World of Winter, there is a link in the description down below to join us over on Patreon and my personal Discord, where you can find yourself whitelisted on the server. You can play with us. You can choose one of 10 races. That's right, there are an additional 5 races just around the corner, and you can join us today by signing up on both Patreon and our Discord and play as a Merfolk in this beautiful Merfolk City. It goes a long ways to keeping the server alive, keeping these episodes coming out. It's greatly appreciated, and we'd love to play with you on the server. Okay, so now back on the server, one of the biggest issues we're gonna have is that guy right there, that Pillager Outpost. I've been looking around on the internet and on the wiki. It says that pillagers will spawn around that in a range of 72 blocks by 72 blocks, centered on the chest that's in there, and also 54 blocks in height. Again, as far as I believe, centered on that chest. So my goal is to get in there, and I want to build a perimeter around it. I want to cut down all of the trees, and I also want to tear down the tower, and we're going to be getting attacked by these guys the entire time. So I thought it'd be fun if we did a little bit of a third-person time-lapse where we just kind of tackle this thing, because I'm sure this won't be nearly as entertaining as in the first person. So we're gonna break out old camera bear here and get us some hopefully some really good footage. I don't know about you guys, but I laughed way too hard at that entire encounter. Oh my goodness, just seeing how many of these guys had spawned in just from us passively being in the area, putting in the outlines for the mountain itself. Absolutely hilarious. And of course, we eventually got the upper hand by coming in here and putting a block in their way. Get out of the way! And they basically had to come over here. This was the only real pathfinding they could figure out to find me. They were pretty much able to get rid of them pretty quickly. But, of course, this is a spawnable place for them, so they will continue to spawn. And we have a barrier all the way around. There happened to be an iron golem in a little cage right here I just busted out. So hopefully he'll do a little bit of work, but I'm not expecting too much from him. I think they're pretty much gonna all be sealed in. I don't think there's any gaps where they could escape, and we'll continually have to keep adjusting this wall as we mine this thing down. We may in fact actually do this chunk, or these several chunks. We probably end up doing them first just to get out of range. Now, based on the footage, I thought maybe, just maybe, it was pertinent for me to remind you guys that we are on the world of winter, which means we do have player races, and I happen to be, well, obviously, a polar bear. And as a polar bear, I have natural resistance and strength during the day, and I get slowness and weakness at night, which is why when it got dark in that little time lapse, I ran away. And during the day when I was a porcupine filled with arrows, I wasn't dying because I have resistance, so it was a little easier for me to survive. The elves, on the other hand, if I was an elf doing that exact same thing, I probably would have been demonetized several times in that process. I also discovered that I reread the wiki, and it doesn't say centered on the chest. It says it's centered on the watchtower on the same level that the chest spawns on. So it actually spawns around this floor. So if we get that Y level, we'll know the 54 blocks of height. We'll know how far down to go before this should, in theory, stop spawning stuff. And I'm now officially out of food, so I'm going to actually tear down the tower. I don't think there's any real reason to keep it here. I'm going to tear it down, and we're going to move on from this particular project today. We're back in our little Christmas holiday build-off area. And if you guys are not familiar with this, then I highly suggest you check out the last episode. Right near the end, we come here and we talk about this place a little bit and basically what it's all about. But I did have a sort of revelation, and that was that I'm going to actually divide up the plots because I'm a little nervous that we're not going to be able to get pathways throughout this place, and I really do want there to be pathways. So with all of our excess string that we've gotten from our mob drop farm and converting that into wool, and then our shop farm thing with Mila where we make a bunch of dyes, I have made a whole bunch of red carpet, a whole bunch of it. And I am going to go through here, and with F3 and G you can see the chunks. I'm going to go through here and I'm going to go along the borders of each of the chunks and layer them out with red carpet. This will show players at the same time exactly what a chunk is without having to hit F3 and G all the time and having to see all these ugly lines all the time. But it will also make it so players can't build on the carpet. So at the end of all of it, we can remove all the carpet and we'll have 2 wide paths that are directly hugging a border for each of the chunks. And we can convert those into our pathways for this. We can actually turn the Christmas holiday build off into a actual sort of town, hopefully a little Christmas land, and I think that'll be a lot of fun, actually. And for those of you who want to have multiple builds, or you want to do a build that takes up more space than a single chunk, I will allow you to remove the carpets for a bordering chunk, and you can take over 2 chunks. But it must be all one build, or at least, some kind of connectedness to it. If you want to do individual builds, just leave the carpet in place and they will count as 2 separate builds. Yeah, basically I'm just going to go through here and I'm going to lay down all the carpet. And this competition is open right now. You can see somebody's already started. This competition is active right this moment. So if you guys want to pop on, the command block to teleport you over here is at the entrance of the shopping district right by the nether portal, and it'll bring you right out here. Just pick a plot, start building, have a blast, and the top 7 winners will each get themselves a beacon with all of the iron so they can make a full beacon out of it. And then the top 3 winners will also win a whole bunch of diamond blocks. So that'll be really cool. I'm looking forward to it. I'm just going to lay out all this stuff out here. Just wanted to remind you guys that this is happening right now. It's going until December 15th, and then we will be doing some judging of all of the builds, and we'll have our winners. Be sure to get in and work on this right away, because we, at the moment, don't have enough patrons to keep the server going any more than this month. So if you really want to spend time on the server, this may be your last chance for a long while. So hop on and get to work, because it might be the last time. Oh, perfect. Okay, well, we managed to get all of these plots in. It's 5 chunks by 7 chunks, so it's pretty large. That leaves room for 35 builds to be left here. Oh, I missed one. Here I thought we were going to get away with only 2 carpets left to spare, but that's not the case. There's one right here, and now we're out on the last trip. I didn't even see it. Oh my goodness. But guys, that is going to be it for today's episode. I highly encourage you to come out here and get yourself your own plot to build. Bella has logged onto the server. That's apparently Bella's build right there. And I'm gonna give Bella some slack. I hope everyone else will, give Bella a little slack too. She's built right up to the edge, taking over where some carpet would be. But of course, she started building before I came up with this brilliant idea, so not her fault, guys, not her fault. So don't yell at Bella. That plot right there, don't yell at her for being slightly on the carpet. She didn't know, and I didn't know I was gonna do it. So, it's fine. But guys, that is gonna be it. I hope you're excited for the Merfolk Kingdom. I hope you're excited for the Christmas holiday build off. There are prizes to be won here. There is a very fantastic reward for helping with the Merfolk project. I'm not going to tell you now, but I'm going to let you know it is something you cannot get on your own. It is definitely a admin's, owner's powerful thing to give that you can't get from other places, because only I can do it. So there's that. But that's going to be it. I hope you guys are excited for all of it. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you liked. Subscribe if you haven't. Share with your friends. Hit the notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next one.